Hi, my name is Ashley. I'm a student at the University of Iowa, and I'm conducting interviews to determine students' thoughts on what causes the change in seasons. Would you be willing to explain how seasons change and to answer some basic questions regarding season changes for me?
Yes.
Great. All of your thoughts are confidential and are only going to be used to help me understand this phenomenon. Would it be all right if I recorded our interview so I can refer to it later to remember what you said?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So here in Iowa, we have several seasons. Can you describe some of these seasons to me and tell me which time of year you associate with each?
Sure. We have 5 seasons. City of 5 seasons is Cedar Rapids, and we have your winter, your fall, your spring, your summer. I don't know what the fifth one is. Your winter is going to be cold. Your summer is going to be hot. Your spring and fall are pretty mild.
Okay, so looking outside, we have quite a bit of snow right now. Do you think everywhere else in the world is experiencing the same type of weather as us right now?
I believe that places in the Midwest are experiencing the same weather as us, and I think that maybe places on the coast may be experiencing more cooler temps versus what they're used to. I don't believe that they would have snow, but
So can you explain why there might be a discrepancy in what we see outside and maybe what other people in the world are experiencing?
I believe it has everything to do with the location of their location versus the sun.
Okay, so in your opinion, does everywhere in the world experience seasonal fluctuations, or are there countries where the season is always the same?
I think almost everywhere would experience some sort of fluctuation, whether it be as drastic as Iowa's or the Midwest. I don't believe that would happen. Places like California, I don't think drop below, let's say 50 degrees. That'd be a really cool day for them, and that's coming from 80 degrees, whereas we could be as high as 110 in the summer and be below zero in the wintertime.
Okay, so if you had to explain what causes the change in seasons, what would you say?
I would say that it has to do with the Earth's rotation around the sun.
Can you explain some more?
I believe at one given time, let's say in the summertime, that the sun is actually closer to the Earth, and in the winter, it would be further away.
Okay, so we'll come back to that thought in just a little bit, but from your experience, does the amount of sunlight and darkness change throughout the year, or does it remain constant?
I believe it changes.
Okay, and how does that change?
In the wintertime, when the sun is further away from the sun, or from the Earth, the days would then become shorter because it would be getting less sunlight. Whereas in the summer, days would be longer because the sun would then be closer, which would then provide more sunlight, which would make the days longer.
Okay, so can you explain how this might change depending on your location?
Yes, when the Earth rotates, it's not on a perfect axis. The axis is actually at an angle, therefore making the southern hemisphere angled up higher towards the sun, so it would then receive more sunlight and then be warmer as well, versus the North Pole per se, or the South Pole.
So in your opinion, how important is the sun in determining the seasons, and what type of relationship does the sun and the earth have?
The sun is very important in dictating the seasons. The relationship between them is when it's sunny, you're going to have more plants and life, and when it's less sunny, you're going to have less plants and less life.
So can you show me your ideas using the objects next to you, or can you draw me a picture to represent your ideas? Okay, so what are those objects and how are you moving them? Which one is which? Can you tell me?
This is the sun. This is the earth.
And it just rotates around just like that?
Yeah. Sometimes might want to change directions.
Okay, well, thank you. So does anything else interact with the earth or sun that could affect season change?
Yeah. I believe, that there could be other planets getting in the way of the sun's light and warmth when there's other planets that circle the same constellation. So when the sun's moving around the earth, it might get blocked by like Saturn or Mars or something.
Okay, and then how would that affect the season then if the sun is getting blocked by another planet?
It would make it darker for longer. It wouldn't be getting as much light. It'd be like if you put your finger in front of a flashlight.
So what can you tell me about the Earth's orbit? You kind of depicted it when you were using those objects, but is there anything else that you would like to add about the Earth's orbit?
The sun just completely circles the earth. Actually,
So does the Earth ever move closer or further from the sun, or does it remain the same distance throughout the year?
it remains the same distance throughout the year.
Do you think that that has any influence on what season it is, or do you think that that's irrelevant?
I think it's irrelevant.
Would you mind showing me a picture? Would you mind drawing me a picture here of what you think that the Earth's orbit is and where the sun and the Earth and maybe some of those extra planets might be at any time in the year? It doesn't matter. Okay, can you explain to me what you've drawn?
I have the sun in the center, and outside that I got a planet. I drew Saturn orbiting the sun, and then I drew Earth behind that. And in my picture you can see how, as if the sun, or if Saturn were to be directly in front of Earth, it would then block all of its light.
Okay, thank you for drawing that for me. Now, you mentioned earlier that the Earth's axis is not straight up and down, but it's kind of tilted. So can you explain to me how that might impact the season?
Yeah, it's going to make the changes less severe for places that are closer to the sun based on how the tilt is.
So how is the tilt going to make it less severe?
If the tilt is always the same places are going to stay the same temperature. Whereas if they were to be blocked by another planet blocking the sun, or if, yeah.
Okay, and so does the tilt of the Earth affect its distance from the sun?
Nope.
So just to summarize, you said that the Earth is on an axis, and when it's rotating around the sun, it might get blocked by other planets that can cause it then to experience different changes in season. and that when it's at a tilt, the tilt just helps it so that the other areas, the same areas, are not being as affected each year or each time of the year due to the changes in the sun exposure. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and I just wanted to also clarify one other thing with you. So, at the beginning of the interview, you mentioned that summer is when the sun gets closer to the earth, or when the earth is closer to the sun, and winter is when the earth is further away. So can you explain to me how, if the sun is in the center, how that distance might change then?
If the sun is in the center, the earth would then just orbit it.
Okay. So can you think of anything else you would like to add, or do you have any other thoughts regarding season change? You can use the items if you would like.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to know if there was anything else that you wanted to add. Any other thoughts that you had regarding season changes, and you can use anything, either the items, or you can draw me a picture if you had any other thoughts that you wanted to explain.
Nope, I think that sums it up.
All right, well, thank you for helping me understand your idea of season changes. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome.